The Journey of Hope. Hello. Today I'm sharing a beautiful story that will help you learn new English vocabulary and sentence structures, while also inspiring you. As you listen, you'll improve your language skills and be motivated by an incredible journey. Let's get started. There was a boy named Christopher who lost his parents when he was just 5 years old in a tragic accident. After the loss, he was sent to an orphanage in a small village, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't accept that this would be his new home. One holiday, when he was around 6, he was allowed to visit his family for 1 week. During that short time, his uncle and aunt treated him well, and he loved being around his cousins, Alan, Andrew, and Ethan. Though they weren't truly happy to have him there, Christopher didn't notice. He was just a child, hopeful, innocent, and eager for love. He thought, maybe they will love me. Maybe I belong here, and he didn't want to go back to the orphanage. It wasn't that the orphanage was terrible, but it wasn't home. He longed for a family, for a place where he could belong. But everything changed when the holiday ended, and it was time for him to return. His small hands clung to his aunt's dress. Please, I don't want to go back. His aunt frowned, prying his fingers away. Christian, you can't stay here. We have our own children to take care of. His uncle sighed. Listen to your aunt. The orphanage is better for you. Christopher shook his head, tears streaming down his face. I will be good. I promise. The villagers who had gathered to watch murmured among themselves, insisting that they accept him. Christopher's aunt and uncle exchanged glances. They sighed. Fine, you can stay. For a brief moment, Christopher felt happiness. But he didn't know that from the moment he became their responsibility, the love he had felt during those 2 days would disappear. They had been kind when he was just a visitor, but now he was a burden. Slowly, the warmth faded. His aunt sighed whenever she had to prepare an extra plate for him. His cousins avoided him. Alan and Andrew's kindness turned into coldness, then cruelty. One day, his younger cousin broke his mother's valuable gift. Christopher saw it happen and, wanting to protect him from punishment, took the blame. His uncle's voice was sharp. Did you do this, Christopher? Christopher lowered his head. Yes, uncle. I'm sorry. His aunt's eyes narrowed. That was my mother's gift, you worthless orphan. Christopher nodded, swallowing his fear. Alan and Andrew smirked, relieved they were off the hook. Ethan, however, looked at Christopher with guilt and sadness in his eyes. His aunt sighed. Then you'll go without food tonight. Maybe that'll teach you a lesson. Christopher's stomach rumbled, but he stayed quiet. He just nodded and walked away. Later that night, Ethan quietly went to the kitchen, grabbed a small piece of bread, and placed it gently by Christopher's bed. You're kind, aren't you? He whispered gently. I know you didn't do it. Christopher smiled faintly, his heart warming despite the hunger. Thank you, Ethan. One evening, he overheard his uncle mutter, Why did we let him stay? We had enough mouths to feed, and his aunt sighed. Now we're stuck with him. That night, Christopher went outside and looked up at the sky. 2 bright stars shone above him, and he imagined they were his parents. He whispered to them, telling them about his day, about his sadness. Whenever he felt lost, he would go outside, talk to the stars, and feel their presence. It gave him strength. Christopher swallowed the lump in his throat, his small hands clenched into fists. I won't cry, he told himself. I will be strong. But deep down, he knew. The home he had longed for was just an illusion. Despite everything, Christopher never stopped hoping. He worked hard in school, believing that if he succeeded, his family would finally accept him. But school wasn't easy either. Other kids often teased him, making fun of the way he looked and the things he didn't have. They would laugh at him, and it made Christopher feel sad and alone. Christopher worked hard to show he was capable. He became the top of his class, even though others tried to bring him down. One day, his teacher, Mr. Collins, noticed Christopher sitting alone after class. Christopher, what's wrong? He asked. Christopher tried to stay strong, but he couldn't help crying. They keep calling me names. It hurts, Mr. Collins. Mr. Collins put a hand on Christopher's shoulder. You're stronger than you know. Don't let their words control you. Believe in yourself. Christopher wiped his tears. But I have nothing. No family, no money, no future. Mr. Collins smiled. You have heart, Christopher, and that will take you far. Don't stop, no matter what. That night, Christopher made a promise. I will not stop. I will keep going. He wanted to become a doctor. It had been his parents' dream, and another reason was that they had died because they couldn't afford treatment. He had been too young to understand then, but when he grew older, he learned the truth. No one should die just because they're poor, Christopher thought. I will become a doctor. I will help people who need me. Years passed, and Christopher became a doctor. It wasn't easy. He struggled financially, worked multiple jobs, and faced many challenges. To support himself, he worked as a waiter in a small cafe, cleaned offices at night, and tutored younger students. He also did house chores given to him by his aunt and uncle. He barely slept, but he never gave up. One night, after finally achieving his dream, he looked up at the stars. Mama, Papa, I did it. I became a doctor. I hope I made you proud. His voice cracked, but he smiled. I will use this gift to help others, just like you would have wanted. But just as his life was settling, his family's was falling apart. One day, Christopher's uncle fell seriously ill. The family had no money to afford proper treatment. His 3 sons couldn't help him because they were all struggling in their own ways. When Christopher heard about his uncle's condition, he didn't hesitate. Without a second thought, he stepped in. He paid for the treatment, consulted with specialists, and took care of his uncle as if he were his own father. Days and nights passed, and Christopher stayed by his side, providing the love and care his uncle had never shown him. Lying in his hospital bed, his uncle grasped Christopher's hand, tears in his eyes. We were so wrong about you. I am sorry, Christopher. Christopher nodded, his voice calm but filled with emotion. I will take care of you, Uncle. No matter what happened before, you're still my family. He kept checking on his aunt, asking if she was okay or needed anything to eat or rest. Seeing all this, the regret of her 3 sons not being there brought tears to her eyes. His aunt wept beside him. We should have loved you. We should have treated you as our own. Can you ever forgive us? Christopher looked at them with a sense of peace. The past is the past. What matters is now. Though his aunt and uncle regretted their past actions, Alan and Andrew still felt jealousy. He's acting like he belongs to our parents, they whispered. Ethan, who had started to care deeply for Christopher after seeing his kindness, embraced him tightly. You're the best of us, Christian. I've always known that. Afterward, Christopher asked his aunt how his cousins were doing and if he could do anything for them. His aunt sighed deeply and began to explain the struggles her sons were facing. Her voice filled with concern as she spoke about her eldest son, Alan, who had defied their advice to study and start a business with a friend. Unfortunately, he had been betrayed by this friend and lost everything, falling into severe debt. Then she sighed again, her eyes downcast. And then there's Andrew, your second cousin. He's struggling to pass his college exams because he never paid attention to his studies. I don't know what to do with him. She took a deep breath before continuing. As for Ethan, the youngest, he's a good boy. He studies well, but he's struggling with his low confidence. He's always afraid to take the next step. Christopher listened carefully, his heart full of compassion. He knew this was his chance to make a difference for the family that had once rejected him. One evening, Christopher went to Alan. He sat down with him and gently said, Alan, I know how hard things have been for you. But we all make mistakes. You can't change the past, but you can change the future. Let's find a way to rebuild your life, starting with one step at a time. It's never too late to start over. Alan looked at Christian, his face a mixture of shame and hope. You really think I can fix this? Christopher nodded. Yes. But you need to trust yourself again. I believe in you. Alan's heart softened, and he felt a wave of regret wash over him for how he had treated Christopher. He looked at him and said, I'm sorry. I was rude and I was wrong. Thank you for showing me the way. Next, Christopher turned to Andrew, his second cousin. Andrew, I know you've struggled with your studies, but you can do this. You just need to focus, work hard, and believe in your potential. You don't have to be perfect. You just need to try your best. Andrew, though resistant at first, began to listen. Slowly, he started dedicating more time to his studies, and Christopher guided him, helping him create a study plan and encouraging him when things got tough. Andrew, surprised by Christopher's kindness, despite everything, finally apologized as well. "I'm sorry for how I treated you before. I didn't realize how much you cared for us." Months later, Andrew passed his exams, a proud smile on his face. "I did it, Christopher. Thank you for not giving up on me." Lastly, Christopher approached Ethan, who had always been his closest ally. "Ethan, you have so much potential, but you need to believe in yourself. Don't let fear hold you back. Take one small step at a time, and soon you'll see how much you can achieve." Ethan hesitated, but trusted Christopher's advice. He slowly began to overcome his self-doubt, excelling in his studies and becoming more confident in his abilities. Through Christopher's guidance and unwavering support, each cousin found their way. They grew stronger, more determined, and their bond as a family began to heal. One evening, Christopher stood outside looking at the stars. "Mama, Papa, today I'm very happy. I have my family back. It's all because of your blessings. I've saved the house that was about to fall apart. Now I need your blessings again. I will build an orphanage. No child should suffer like I did." True to his word, Christopher built an orphanage in honor of his parents, the Hope Foundation. It became a safe haven for children, offering education, food, healthcare, and love. On the day of the orphanage's opening, Christopher stood before the building, his heart full of gratitude. His family, his aunt, uncle, and cousins were all there, cheering him on, their faces beaming with pride. His aunt, who had once regretted her treatment of him, wiped away tears as she embraced him. "You've done it, Christopher. We're so proud of you." His uncle, now fully healed and with a renewed sense of love for Christopher, placed a hand on his shoulder. "You've shown us what real strength is, and we're honored to stand by your side today." Alan, Andrew, and Ethan stood together, a united front, watching Christopher with admiration. Alan, who had once been full of bitterness and pride, clapped Christopher on the back. "You proved us all wrong, Christopher. You turned everything around." Andrew smiled, his eyes filled with respect. "You gave me a second chance, and now you've given these children a chance at a better life." Ethan, his closest ally, hugged him tightly. "You've always believed in me, and now you've shown me what believing in others can do." Christopher's voice trembled with emotion as he whispered, "This is for you, Mama, Papa. I want to make sure no child feels the pain I felt. Thank you, Mama, Papa. Even though you're gone, I carry you with me in everything I do." The villagers watched with pride as Christopher spoke. His aunt and uncle, grateful, thanked the villagers for insisting that Christopher stay with them instead of returning to the orphanage. They realized that the boy they once saw as a burden had become a source of pride. In the end, Christopher showed that no matter how hard life is, hope and hard work can make a difference. With love, patience, and belief in yourself, even the toughest past can lead to a bright future. Thank you.